How's it going, Ram fans? And welcome back to the Triple J Pick'em Challenge. Today, Jason and I have Hunter filling in for Jared, who was too embarrassed to show his face tonight. That's right, because look at the scores here. Look who went 0-for-3 last week.
Hey,
that would be Jared.
Let it be known, Jared is actually in the studio. He just didn't want to come on tonight because of how embarrassed he was.
Nah, just kidding. Jared's actually sick tonight, but let's go ahead and get into the picks here. First up, we have number 11, Michigan, and they're traveling to Camp Randall Stadium to take on the number 13 Wisconsin Badgers this week. And I'll go ahead and start this one off here. I'm actually picking Michigan here. I know they had their struggles last week, but I think that since they went through that, they're going to be a better team for that. And really, I just feel like Wisconsin hasn't played anyone to be able to test who they really are this year. And so they have the upper hand here, and I think they're going to take this one.
Michigan almost lost to Army.
I know, but they worked through their struggles, and they're better off for it now. Sometimes you have to go through those to figure out what your strengths are, what you have to work on, and so far, Wisconsin's been easy sailing this season.
That's what the non-conference is for. You boost your morale, and then you just come in and just run over everybody.
Or you get lazy.
Yeah, and not to talk about the fact that they have home field advantage, too.
Yeah.
That's always something that you got to take into account.
Always win at home.
And, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, shout out Eddie Hers because he gave me this info. Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in college football. So that is why Wisconsin is going to win, because they have the best running back in college football. And how do you stop that? You don't. And, I mean, he only had 101 yards against Michigan last year, but I'm counting on 200 this year and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, like you say.
Count it.
All right.
Jonathan Taylor's an elusive back. He has many different running styles that he can come out of. He can come out of the shotgun. He can come out of the eye. I agree with that. I think Taylor's going to be a big factor in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll see if Jared likes that pick for you.
And that's why Hunter went with Wisconsin as well, because,
Yeah.
Best running back in college football. Anyways, so next we have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish versus the Georgia Bulldogs. That's a 3 versus 7 matchup this week. So who do you got, Hunter?
This is a good matchup. I do like Georgia in this matchup. I'm going to save Jared on this one. He was picking Notre Dame, but I'm going to switch that pick over to Georgia.
Good pick. Good choice.
There's a lot of success from Jake Fromm recently,
Oh, yeah.
and this Georgia team is just – it's a big game, so they have to prove themselves and prove that they can play in these big games.
I agree with you 100%, and I think Jared will thank you later.
Yeah.
I'm also picking Georgia here. They have the upper hand on the ground. Notre Dame has a really hard time stopping the run, so I think that's really good where they're going to struggle. And DeAndre Swift is a beast, so I think he's definitely going to be the difference here.
And spoiler alert, I guess I'm picking Georgia as well, as you saw it pop up on the screen.
But
yeah, I mean, I can't really pick against Georgia because Jake Fromm, he's a veteran quarterback. He knows what he's doing. Like you said, DeAndre Swift, one of the better running backs in college football. And Kirby Smart came out and said, he's like, Jake Fromm isn't that young QB that he was when we played Notre Dame last, and they still beat him. So,
I mean, Kirby also said that defensive line of the Fighting Irish is something that they haven't seen before. So they do have to respect him there, but I think Georgia still gets this.
I think, the SEC is far superior than being independent. And Notre Dame, if they need to find themselves a home so they can play some better competition year-round.
Finally, we'll be picking the CSU Rams or the Toledo Rockets. Jess, what's your pick?
So unfortunately here, I have to go with Toledo. After Colin Hill's injury, after what we saw at the end of the Arkansas game, I just can't pick CSU. I know that might sound crazy because this is one of those games that everyone expected CSU to win, but with the recent injuries and just what we've seen, how the defense really deteriorated at the end of that game, I just am thinking that CSU is going to underestimate this team, overestimate themselves, and I just think it's going to be a loss for CSU this week at home.
No. So I went with CSU just based on the fact that Toledo is not Arkansas. Arkansas, even though they are presumed as one of these weaker SEC teams, they are still an SEC team. So that was, for the game to be that close was good enough for CSU and all. But you got to think, Patrick O'Brien was recruited to go to Nebraska, one of the Big Ten schools, and now he's here at CSU. Patrick O'Brien can let it sling. He was only in for what? Half the game? He went for 100 yards and a score over Arkansas. And of course, you gotta think Dante Wright's gonna go off. And the big thing is Marvin Kinsey has to hold on to the ball. If Marvin Kinsey holds on to the ball, CSU's gonna get a win. But the biggest factor, the biggest one, Nate Craig Myers becomes eligible to play this week.
Oh.
And that is going to be key
That is huge.
for Petty to be able to throw to a new receiver. And
That's true.
when you get a big D1 transfer coming in to wide receiver you got to take advantage of it.
We'll see how they
Well,
do.
I also went with Toledo, and I think the fact of changing up this quarterback situation, it changes everything. It one, your receivers, they're not used to the quarterback, so your route timing is going to be off. 2, your handoffs can be off because they're not used to the running back. Also, 3, the passing protection is different because you don't know which way that guy's going to slide, and they're used to Colin Hill behind that line, and I think that's going to be a little bit of the factor that plays in. Also, Toledo was the team that made a bowl game last year. CSU did not. So
Ooh, that's
a
last
good
year.
point there.
that's true.
It was
but,
last year. CSU is a
that-
new team.
That's true, but the defense, like Jess said, they struggled a little bit towards the end, and their confidence is down after that loss.
You don't
and
need defense when you outscore everybody.
How are you going to outscore everybody if not everybody's on the same page? With
That's
the new
what you got this
quarterback?
whole week for.
They do have some prep
They
time.
do have a
You
whole
think
week.
1 week is enough prep time to get
Patty's
everybody on
been
the same
behind.
page?
He's been taking snaps with the ones all summer.
But I don't think that the CSU team was prepared for that. They definitely weren't prepared.
Well, CSU's going to win, and these homers don't, or these non-homers don't know what
You're
they're
a
doing.
homer.
I'm a homer.
Well, Rams, that's all we have for you this week. But head to our Twitter page right now to vote on which one of us you think will win the Triple J Pick'em Challenge.
Not Jared.
But don't go anywhere because coming up next, Litos and I have a brand new segment. Stay tuned.